Hello and welcome to my stream. Tonight we play more of Cosmic Star Heroine. Oops, it seems that the game wants to be played already. My controller is a bit crazy, give me a second. Game? Okay, there we go, it's because... No, never mind, it's back! What is starting here? Come on, it's the freaking analog stick that's doing that. What the heck? Controller? Seriously? Stop that. You see, Victor, I don't have a Switch myself, but I'm dealing with the Joy-Con drift right now, right? What the heck? Come on, game. Speaking on which, Victor, were you able to do anything about it after the problem happened again to you? See, what? Okay, I don't know how to stop that now, wait. Don't make me go play this game with my keyboard though, I don't want to do that. I did it! There we go! Jesus, I shall not press or like touch the freaking analog stick in here because that was so scary now. I don't want to play this on my keyboard. But anyway, after that, hi Victor, hi Ultros, how are you guys doing? I hope that we can play the game without either computer problems or controller problems, because I was not expecting that to start to happen. But regarding the game, we started last stream, and it was a very crazy and difficult start, to be honest, especially because we kinda decided to go on a somewhat higher difficulty level for it. But at the same time, we have been learning a little bit about how the game works, even though it kinda has many mechanics since they start already, so it's a lot to grasp. But this game does have similarities with Chrono Trigger, which was what pulled me towards playing it. But it's not the same. I at least still need to understand better or understand more the turn mechanics, because last time I was thinking they were like an active time turn-based game, but Subaru actually pointed out last time, and then I still gotta test it, that maybe I do have time to think before getting my strategies done. So maybe it's not really active time, I can have like my own time to strategize and do my own choices instead of rushing like crazy and deciding like crazy. I will test that out better tonight. And regarding the plot, we were sent in a tower to rescue some hostages in there from this one bad guy called Groth, also known as Barrett. And in that tower, we fought some minions. That's how I realized this game would be a challenging game, because we actually had very clutch fights already, since like fight number 1. And we even had the game over against the first boss, which actually reminded me of Super Mario RPG, because Super Mario RPG has a somewhat hard first boss battle, in case you guys have never played it. And some people may die to that boss battle if they are not prepared. So I liked to make that comparison afterwards, or after some time I gave it some thought. But like I said, we have been learning, and I'm starting to think more about how I have to also recharge my techniques so they can be available for when I need to heal. In the process of exploring this tower, we met a party member, which was Sean. And by the way, our main protagonist is Alyssa. So Alyssa was able to meet Sean, and Sean was more like a psychic fighter or martial artist, I would say. She was a very crazy mix of martial artist with some sort of psychic powers, because she uses her psychic powers to like use her weapons as well. Very interesting character, but unfortunately after we rescued the hostages, she kinda left the party, so I'm not sure where she is gone, but I hope that we can meet her again in the future. The tower almost got exploded thanks to Groth when he was fleeing. He kind of set a bomb, but we were able to disarm the bomb and also save everybody. And then we returned to our headquarters. That's where we stopped the game, and that's where I shall explore better today because I was pretty much chatting last time, and then I didn't focus too much on the headquarters. And then I'm hoping that we can get ready to our next mission, wherever that's going to be, and that we can have, let's say, at least 0 game overs tonight. Can I accomplish that? I would be happy if we didn't have a game over tonight. But yeah, that's the scope for the game. The other thing that I want to say is that, like we started the stream, maybe tonight we may have a little bit more of computer problems towards, not towards, compared, right, to previous stream, because today I can see my computer a little bit crazier than last time, but then my controller surprised me right now as well, so that's bad. But I hope you won't have many issues. Still speaking about the computer, after last stream, that's the new updated new computer bar. That's the new goal updated. So thank you so much for everybody that supported that goal and helped me, because I was not really expecting that amount of help. We got like to 80% plus on the goal or more, or faster than like a week. So that was amazing. This will totally help me out a lot. But I'm planning to get the computer in May, right? When I'm also going to get my own money back from my investment, and then combine them both to buy this new computer. But anyway, let me go back to the chat and read everything. Victor, Ultros, I hope you guys have been great. Victor, I have some things to tell you, because you gave me a fantastic idea last time you were in here, and I put that idea in practice, or like I started doing something about it. So let me catch up with you guys. You guys were talking about some lines from The Simpsons. It sounds like something Dr. Nick or whatever he's called. By the way, I was just listening to one of my favorite bands. Okay, was it Daft Punk or maybe Wild Nothing? I know you heard Wild Nothing before, but you told me that you don't like the vocalist that much, and it's understandable. After you told me that, I can understand why you said it. You know, I paid more attention to his vocals. Maybe it's not like a specialist on vocals, but I love their instrumentals because they are very dreamy and nostalgic and everything. But I'm guessing it's either One Nothing or Daft Punk, because those two are my favorite bands. Although I also have other, let's say, side favorite bands. Oh, there we go, it was Daft Punk. Tears for Fears is also great. Yes, it's one of my favorite bands as well, especially after I went to their concert in Rock in Rio, right? I think in 2016. So I also really love Tears for Fears. You heard Touch? I forgot who was the person they invited to be like doing the vocals in Touch. I forgot who was the person, but that song is from Random Access Memories, which is the album that they invited so many musicians out there, even Pharrell, right? To kinda help them to sing or even play on the songs or like compose the songs as well. Like, for example, they invited Giorgio Moroder for one of the songs as well, and then he was like one of the first people to start using synths or like distorters on his songs in the past. So that was also a very great invitation. And Pharrell, like I said, they also got Neil Rogers, if I'm not mistaken, which is like a very funky and jazzy guitarist. He's actually great. Sometimes Spotify recommends me other songs by this guy, Neil Rogers, that he was like featured, right, together with another artist, and then I can like hear his trademark on his guitar playing. So it's very great. I'm happy that you were able to hear that song, Victor, but I wonder, how did it get you? Let me catch up with the chat then. That's almost as crazy as my left Joy-Con. Dude, what the heck was that? And you know what's the worst? Look at my analog stick right now. It's on the upper position. So maybe it is having that problem of, you know, getting drifted or something. Because that was the only way I could stop the cursor to be moving like that. I haven't bothered yet. I'm gonna try open it up and put another piece of card in it to put more pressure on it and see if that helps. Yeah, man, try doing it again because maybe the previous piece of cardboard you placed, maybe it got old or like it's getting worn or something. Maybe a new one could help you more, right? So it was from The Simpsons and Dr. Nick. Dr. Nick discount surgeries. Dr. Nick is such a funny character. I kind of feel bad for not getting all of those references from cartoons, right? Because I really don't watch any of them, like The Simpsons, South Park. I watched a little bit of South Park, and I do have my, let's say, one or two favorite episodes from The Simpsons, but I haven't watched lots of them. But there is one episode that I will always remember how much I laughed at it, which was the one that although this is the only thing I can remember from the episode, but it was the best. It was one moment when the Simpsons family, I don't know their surname or something, but they left Maggie, right, the baby, in a pool of plastic balls. And Maggie was like sinking and drowning in that pool of plastic balls. And then, as the episode was going on, she was getting deeper and deeper sunk on the freaking pool. And then the more she was sinking, the more things she was finding, like other people sunk, skeletons, fossils, sheeps, like all sorts of things, treasures, you know, aliens. And then that was so funny because it was so like unrealistic. So that was totally my favorite scene on Simpsons episodes, but like I said, I haven't watched many Simpsons episodes. I did watch the episode that they came to Brazil though, and then how that episode was somewhat criticized or like very stereotypical. But I also gotta admit some things in there are kind of correct, even though they were exaggerated. But I'm not gonna lie, some situations in there do happen. Like some monkeys stealing from tourists or people. Some monkeys in here are kind of crazy and they are not shy to like interact with people, so they can totally steal something from people. There is like the carnival, you know, there is the violence, and some places are very dangerous and everything. But of course, in the episode, it got very exaggerated, but some things in there are actually on point. And then I also heard that they also somehow made fun or like kind of criticized some other countries too, like Japan even. And then I think I watched on a video that Japan also didn't like the way they were portrayed in the episode. But at the same time, it's kind of like let's say it's kind of like expected how that goes, you know. If it is a comedy show, a comedy cartoon, they will somehow make fun of some problems of like other countries or like other things. They need to be careful and also not overpass their limits. But of course, they won't make everybody's happy about the things they are criticizing on their shows, right? So I was not surprised that Japan also had a somehow backlash to the episode they were talking about. But then I did not watch that episode, or like I hope I'm remembering it was Japan the country. But anyway, my favorite episode was the one of Maggie sinking forever in the freaking pool of plastic bags. I don't know if you guys remember that one or if you know which episode I'm talking about. Maybe you will because you guys seem to know a lot about Simpsons. Also, hey Subber, what's up, man? Let me go back. Ultras is doing good. Nice to hear it, man. Just making dinner. What are you having tonight? You had a bus day? You streamed this morning? Oh, you got a PB in Castlevania? Nice. Good job. Finally. I knew it was coming, man. Just keep on going, and then you keep on learning from your mistakes, and then there will be a run where that mistake won't happen. You just need to be patient and keep on trying, and you see that it's doable. And then here we go. How is your time now, though? And then you also PB'd in Contra 3. You had to do some grocery shopping and errands. I need to buy tomatoes. I was having pasta for lunch, and then I was like excited for eating pasta. And then once I opened my fridge, where are the tomatoes? There was no tomato. And then I still had my pasta, and surprisingly it was good still, but I didn't have tomatoes. So I used onions, garlic, green pepper. I used cilantro. I'm so happy that I have fresh cilantro at home at least. I used vinegar because I love vinegar, and ketchup. And then I kind of used a little bit more of ketchup on this recipe because I didn't have the tomatoes. So the ketchup was able to kind of balance the acidity of the vinegar a little bit more. And what really gave the taste for the sauce were the... Oh yes, I forgot to mention sausage. I also had sausage. So what gave the taste of the sauce were the sausage, the cilantro, and pretty much the garlic. So it was still good. But then I need to buy tomatoes. Then you had to do some grocery shopping and errands, and then you just did commentary. Oh, you have been commenting a lot then. That's awesome, man. Are the people that you are commenting about Castlevania? I mean, I imagine they are also speedrunners, right? But how rated are they? Like, are they some top 10 or something? Or maybe they are maybe casuals, you know, maybe people starting to speedrun on Castlevania. How is that commentary like? But yes, Tears for Fears, I love Tears for Fears. I must have told you much about my friend Christian, who went total dark for 2 years. You did, but I didn't know his name though. Do you have news about that? And also, you were talking more with his brother, right? Because you were also friends with his brother, and then you guys were actually hanging out together and everything. But then this one friend that shut down for many years, he never really returned to talk to you. And then he had 2 head injuries. He sent a message a few months ago. Yes, I remember that. But I thought that the person with the head injuries were the brother. Is it actually the original friend, like the first one? Nile Rodgers is a great guitarist. Yeah, he's fantastic, right? He has some special taste on his music, you know, like you know exactly when he's part of the song. You can identify him very well. I don't remember. I must have heard it first after they announced that they were quitting, and for some reason that song stuck with me. That's nice, man. And I also was I was also very happy that you liked the song that I recommended you as well, which was Horizon. Horizon is the best song in my opinion of that album, but it was for some mysterious reason only released in Japan. So most Daft Punk listeners, they have no idea about the existence of that song. I also didn't have idea. It was one of the days, or one of these days, that I was like browsing on YouTube, and then I read it like Daft Punk Horizon. What is the shit? And then it was an amazing song that blew my mind on how beautiful it sounds on its instrumentals. I listened to the entire album almost a year ago. I gotta confess that even though I'm a big Daft Punk fan, a Daft Punk fan, not fun, right? A fan is like next to me. A fan. Never mind. A fan is something else, right? Wait a minute. I'm now confused about the whole meanings of the word fan. Never mind. Fun doesn't exist in English, right? It's fan. Fan for like the thing you kind of do this with you or with yourself to like feel fresher. Fan is like the big thing next to me blowing wind, and also a fan, being a fan of an artist, a person, or something. That's right. I was saying pretty much the Portuguese pronunciation, but it's not anything in English, I think. So everything is fan, not like fun, right? I mean, never mind. Fun, having fun. There we go. There is a word in English with that pronunciation. Having fun. Let me go back. But I was saying, Victor, that even though I'm a big Daft Punk fan, there we go, I don't like every song of their last album. For example, one of the songs that's super popular, which is how is that? You see, I don't even remember how it's called, but it's the one that has Julian Casablanca from The Strokes on the song. Like every single person freaking loves that song. I don't, but I forgot even its name. That's just to show you how I don't like all of those songs. And there is another one as well. There is a song that they partnered up with the guy or the vocalist of Animal Collective. I also don't like that song that much either, so I kind of don't listen to them. Exactly, they threw her in the ball pit so you guys know the freaking episode. That episode is my favorite Simpsons episode. It's so funny. It's been so long since I last watched an episode of The Simpsons. It's crazy how they are still going and how they have a way of predicting situations of the future, right? That episode was funny. That said, I don't think any reasonable person think that's an accurate portrayal of Brazil. I hope so. It does have, like I said, it's not like fully wrong, but it of course exaggerates, right? So it can make it more comic. It is a fun portrayal. They have to really run with exaggerated stereotypes, yeah. They have an episode where they went to Toronto as well. Just your typical very incorrect Canadian stereotypes. I think I saw on the same videos something about Toronto now that you're mentioning it. But I forgot what was the episode about. But I think it had something to do with a brand, doesn't it? But I can be wrong. But I did watch a video. That's how I even heard about the situation of Japan. They had a situation with Canada too. Now that you're saying, I know what you're talking about. It was like a video that was pretty much listing some of the biggest controversies in The Simpsons. The same when they briefly showed Sweden in an episode, that I didn't know. The typical, not even realistic stereotypes. Funny though. Summer, I'm doing alright. I did have a somewhat hard time sleeping in one day, but thankfully I kind of fixed that fast, and I still rest a little bit. I also finally tested out one of the things I bought to kind of help me out throughout anxiety or like days that I feel either anxiety or insomnia. It was the aromatherapy, and it does work. I tried smelling some lavender aroma. It does make you relaxed. It was very good. Does it like save you from anxiety? No. But it does make you feel more comfortable for sure. And thank goodness the weather in here has finally changed, so the sun is back. Because I need my son out there to sunbathe, to feel better, to feel happier, to sleep well. Because during rainy and cloudy days in a row, I kind of, get bad, or I can struggle more to feel better on sleeping and also preventing my anxiety. But yeah, the sun is back. I have been reading a lot, sunbathing, listening to music. It's been fantastic. And then I hope that I can keep up this pace for this next week. And also, thank goodness I was able to kind of overcome that one day that I kind of had a hard time to sleep pretty fast. Especially thanks to this new method, which was the aromatherapy. So if you guys want to try something to feel more relaxed, in case you also suffer from anxiety or something, aromatherapy can be very good. Like the lavender aroma, you can either buy a pendant that has like a somehow or somewhat cotton or cloth that you can drop one drop of the essence of lavender on it, and then you kind of wear that pendant, and then you keep on smelling it kind of, automatically, because it's on your neck, so it's kind of close to you, and a single drop will have enough aroma for like a whole day, because it doesn't stick. Like that's a smell that sticks, like It stays there, and it's so noticeable that you won't smell, or like you won't miss the smell of it. So that's why you need to go on short or small amounts of it. But as I didn't have that pendant, I pretty much dropped it on my bows, and then I kind of rubbed it on the other bows, and then it was still near to me, and then sometimes I was like smelling it directly, you know. But some people also spread it on their bed when they're going to sleep, so it can make it more comfortable. And then after having that experience with the aromatherapy that worked for me, thank goodness, I also thought about getting incenses in the future, because maybe that's another way I can also have some sort of aromatherapy to help me out in case I have some sort of struggle of stress or anxiety or insomnia in the future. Something else that helped me to stay alright as well was, of course, my 3DS, because I was there playing Mario Kart. I have been super addicted to Mario Kart, and then it helped me to like get distracted, get more relaxed until I started to feel sleepy. And then that's how I was able to still rest a little bit, and then on the next day I could feel more tired to sleep better again. And then I slept great yesterday. Okay, after that, let me go back to the chat. Well, I actually PB'd Castlevania yesterday. It was at 37 minutes. And then I was pissed because you wanted a 36. Come on, Ultras. No, man. You get to the 36, man. Enjoy the process slowly, you know. Don't pressure yourself that much. A PB is still a PB. And then your last PBs were at 37:11, 10:8, 7, and 0. Oh, you see that. Don't stress over that, man. That's how it goes. It's fine. And then we were like, okay, come on. So today the first run you got 36.5 or 36 and 45. Yeah, that was a big change, man. That was a great improvement. Three of that's actually a timestamp that I believe it's going to be a little bit more challenging for you from now on, right? So maybe it's going to take you a while to overcome it. But good luck and keep on practicing. Three of them, right? Three of them are all like top 20 or top 10. You were getting to top 10 already? One of them is a bit below. It was a D-Rust. Oh no, never mind. I think we were talking about the commentary you were doing. So three of the people in there were like top 20 or 10. They were very good players then. It was a D-Rust race for him. A D-Rust, like they were not playing the game that much. And then they had four runners, probably getting confused with other two brothers I'm friends with, but I was also friends with the head injury guy's brother. Yeah. Oh, okay, so he was the brother. So, yes, I was curious to know if the original person was talking to you again, because that's what I remembered, that you said that he kind of, disappeared and everything. And then this brother that you have been talking to again, you guys have been, like, hanging out, right? Did something else happen? Or did he actually stop talking to you again and then he's back again? Or did I miss that? They had one where Bart follows a girl, and then there is another one where Homer, Apple, Flanders, and someone else is sneaking to Canada. Never mind, that's not what I remembered from the video. Horizon is a great piece of music. Love how it slowly evolves from electronic to acoustic. Yeah, it's very soft, right? By the way, speaking on music, have you tried your new synth, Victor? Because last time you didn't have time to try it. What about now? Have you been trying it more? Also, you are having a BLT. Dude, stop with the sandwiches. Come on. Dude, last time you made me so like craving for your were they burgers? I think they were, no, they were bacons, right? They had bacons, lettuce, a lot of crazy seeds. I learned that the word for that thing was um, sesame, right? Sesame or something? I didn't know that. And then it had also the onion seeds, right? But yeah, your sandwiches look amazing. Why don't you open a freaking, sandwich store or something? You should do that. Also your pizzas. Your pizzas look great too. Today I think I will be having some yogurts because I noticed earlier today that the yogurts I have at home, they are is expiring today actually. So I should eat them all up to tomorrow at max before they go very bad. I ate some sandwiches earlier today too. I'm even trying to change my food habit of like eating, let's say, industrialized bread. I'm trying to replace it with whole bread. Although the whole bread that I bought, it was actually the first time I bought it. When I checked the ingredients on the back, I noticed that it's not like 100% whole. It's a lie. Like they have been promoting the bread as healthy, but in the end it's not healthy. It has a lot of the normal or regular flour as well in there. So what is the point of buying something that's whole but it's not fully whole? So next time I will try paying more attention to it, but I will try to get more used to the taste of whole bread so I can see if I can make that change in my food habits. Especially because I have been hearing and checking and reading from all sorts of places that like having a healthy intestine will help you a lot towards anxiety, insomnia, depression, and lots of things because your intestines are responsible for like producing or making serotonin or 90% of serotonin and melatonin and a lot of hormones that are important for those or like they are important to regulate or like to balance your anxiety and stress levels and happiness levels as well and sleepiness and everything. So I have been more careful towards my intestines. I'm even trying to drink, and then I don't know if that's how it's called in English, but fermented milk. Hopefully that's how it's said in English, because it will provide, let's say, good and positive bacteria to my intestines, so they will like be there in the place or in place of the bad bacteria, so it will help my intestines to work better and everything. So I have been tested out. And then bread is something that bread and also pasta, it can be something kind of bad for you to be eating before going to bed because they can somehow derange, your intestines. Although it's something that I love eating for dinner. I love eating sandwiches for dinner and things like that. So I'm trying to see if I can get used to whole bread because I know it's going to be better with also fiber. I'm not sure if that's the English word, but like it will have its nutrients and things that will help my intestines to be better. And yeah, today I tried this one brand that's not 100% whole, but it's at least a little bit whole. And it wasn't too bad for my taste. So maybe there is a chance I can make that replacement. But then today you are having the BLT sandwiches on sub buns instead of bagels. Sub buns, so those long ones, right? Like baguettes. That's like the Subway, right? The Subway bun. Sabri said that he's not a big fan of lavender. I will say that I wasn't sure how was the smell of it for real before trying it. And it is a somehow, like I said, a strong smell. So I can't say that I love it that much. But I liked it for what it did. And like I said, it helped me to relax. So I can work with it. Like I can get used to it. But I understand that it's a somehow, powerful smell. So I can understand if you don't like that smell. But I was like okay-ish with it, especially after it helped me to relax. So I was satisfied with it. I haven't tried it anymore, to be honest. Or wait, maybe that was not to be honest, but I'm not sure. I haven't tried it anymore. Oh, the last time, there we go. The last time, unfortunately, I'm waiting for a cable so I can hook it up on your computer and use it with the rest of your synth rig. I see, so you're still upgrading your setup to use it. Okay, so you do have a point. Like it's better when you have everything ready, right? White bread and whole wheat, whole grain are all generally the same bad for you, but whole wheat will have more minerals to go and fiber. Yeah, that's what I was looking for the most. As like I said, I love sandwiches, I love bread, so I won't stop eating bread. But if I can make a small change, and if it is somehow positive to my intestines, it's worth the shot, right? Lavender gives you a headache, actually? I know people like it, but it really gives you a headache. I do have other fragrances in here, but they have their own, let's say, utilities. Um, I can't even get them to remember which are they. But I think there is one that's lemongrass. I even got, when I purchased them, this one burner. It's like an essence burner. You kind of plug it, and then you drop some drops of the essences with some water in here, and then you leave it like on, and then the essences and the smells and aromas will be in a room or on your room. But I haven't tried it. And then I bought a set of 6. This is the lavender. I don't know if it's going to focus, maybe not. I'm smelling it right now because it's such a powerful smell, and to me it smells like clean. You know, it's such a hygiene smell in my opinion, so I don't mind it that much, but it's a very strong smell, so if you're not careful it can be annoying, right? Yeah, this one is lemongrass or limegrass, I'm not sure how to call it. I know there is one in here that's good for you, for your mind to stay active. So it's kind of like the opposite of what I'm looking for. Oh yeah, this one is bamboo. How is the smell of this? Oh, it's good. It smells like a perfume. Okay, bamboo is very good. I don't know if you guys know how it smells. Dude, this was like a perfume. Okay, I like that a lot. There is this one that's another lavender, but it's French lavender. It is not different in my opinion. Maybe it's a little bit softer, but the smell is the same. This one is vanilla. I don't know what is the purpose of this one, like what it does. Honestly, it's smelling like lavender to me. Maybe the lavender smell got into all of them. It's like a virus. Couldn't smell vanilla in there. And then the last one is rosemary. I think this is called rosemary, right, in English. Okay, this one is a bit. I'm not sure how to describe it. Maybe fresher. Maybe fresher is a way. Or maybe a little bit minty as well. Okay, let me put them back to the closet. Okay, let me go back. So Ultras doesn't like fragrances at all. I'm not a person that wears perfumes or like fragrances, but I can't say that I hate them. Like I just think pretty much they are very expensive, so I also don't want to buy them and stuff. But I think that some people match like those fragrances. You know, sometimes sometimes you meet somebody that wear fragrances and perfumes, and that smell becomes very identifiable or it matches that person a lot. So I like that. You know, sometimes the smells or like um, certain perfumes can really make you remember some people and also some places. But it's not something that I wear myself. Besides deodorant. So your friend, you originally had been friends with his brother who doesn't like you much now, and that's fine. But he and I always were friends, and he is the one you visit in Halifax often, and then he disappeared completely when he moved back. Wait, so he disappeared again? Yeah, and then wouldn't say anything for years for no reason, like nothing happened amongst us. And you saw him last all on good terms and good energy. But he went silent, like really hard silent, and then June you heard from him again just for a short talk. Okay, just that one time. And then what's up now? Because the last update I had were that you guys were, you know, still talking to each other and everything. Did something new happen after that? Basically, I have just been really slow getting things set up. Me too, because Victor, now I will bring up what I was hoping to talk to you in the beginning of the stream. I have been slowly setting things up because you gave me a fantastic idea of like selling up these, right? Selling up my Pokemon TCG cards. So after we were talking about those, I started to like try to detach my emotions to those. And what I have been doing, or slowly doing, is like researching and pricing and, you know, looking up for ways on how can I sell those cards and stuff. And then I have been like filling up on like an Excel sheet with like the prices and data of everything, of every single one. I also have been studying just to notice or to try noticing if some of my cards are fake or not, because I do have some fake cards. For example, this one, this is a straight fake. I don't have many though, but yeah, this one is completely fake. It's like holographic but not. It's holographic printed. And then also this one is another complete fake. Wow, a holographic energy. How awesome, right? Yeah, so there are some fake cards in here, but maybe there are some others that are harder to identify. And I was watching this one fantastic video. Too bad I don't have my newest phone with me right now because it's recharging. Maybe I can try doing it with my older phone, but I'm not sure. But there are techniques, right, for you to identify fake cards or not. And maybe the best technique that I learned, and this should have been more promoted and like everybody should know this. Okay, I got the flashlight. Is that the original prints of those cards, they have like many layers of paper. It's not just, you know, a front paper and a back paper. No, there is normally, or like, it's not normally, there will be, if it is original, at least a third layer in the middle, which is like somehow black paper. And then if you look closely on the sides of the card, you might be able to see that blackish layer, you know. But if you can't see it, you can use this technique with a flashlight. And then if you see the light of the flashlight doesn't surpass the surface of the card because it has many layers. But if I get a fake card, you see it? The difference? So after I learned that, that was genius. This is original because it has the freaking black layer on its middle. Why nobody talks about that? That was like mind blowing to me. I was struggling to like, how can I know if this is fake or not? And then this was the best way to feel more confident that the cards that I will be selling will be original. Will this work for all of them? Probably not. Like probably there will be like a a professional fraud or like a professional, what is the word? It's not imposter. It's professional scam, maybe? Scammer, professional scammer that will also add more layers of paper and print the fake cards and make it, even closer to reality. But it's not the majority because there is a lot of work for you to actually have many layers in your Pokemon card. So for like 99% of fake cards, this will be very handy. So I'm also studying that and test them out and then deciding, oh, is this fake, is this not? Also, I'm studying the state of my cards, if they are new, if they are a little bit worn, if they are, bad or damaged, because all of those things will matter for the pricing. The only sad part about this is that I wish I knew how to sell things on eBay or like how to send things to other countries, but I don't. And the reason why I say that is because most of my cards are in English. So I could export them. I'm just scared because I don't know how to sell things on eBay, like I said. And I don't know if the Brazilian government will start taxing me or if the country that I'm sending the card will start with their own taxing and like regulamentations or laws, and it is more complicated than what it sounds. And I'm also scared of like in the process of sending the cards, I don't know, the card gets lost, and then how am I going to deal with that situation? So I'm still looking up and seeing if I will really start selling those to other countries. I wanted to because if I could do it, I would get more profit, especially from that one card that I showed you, Victor, the Shining Gyarados. It's way more profitable if I sell it in dollars than selling it in Brazil. But I'm scared of like selling things to other countries, so I'm still studying that possibility. But one thing is for sure, I will sell those cards because it's going to help me with extra money. That extra money I can invest, and then the investments can be very positive to my finances. Especially because I'm really detaching myself from the emotions of having those cards, and it's going to be better to my life if I do it, But also not only the cards, I'm also planning to sell some clothes, some 3DS games, some other items and electronics that I don't use anymore here at home, like old phones and old cameras. I'm still separating things. My plan was to start selling them this month, but I don't know anymore if I'll be able to do it, even though there is still a couple time, right? There are still a couple of days left. So I will keep on trying to price everything and organize. At the very least, to sell them in March, like next month. But yes, I'm studying those cards and trying to sell them. Let me go back on the chat. So he has been having more energy. He's been talking more, and he's more open to talk about. or to talk about how he has been feeling the last years, and nothing personal with you. I see it all different. You know what, Ultros? Maybe what he had happening in his life was something close to what happened to my life as well. Um, of course, it's just a comparison. Of course, he will have his life and his deals and his problems, and I will have my problems and my deals. But around 2014, 2013, I really felt depressed, and it was a combination of events that triggered me that, and that combination of events made me feel really far from everybody. I was isolating myself. I was enclausurating myself. I was like getting under a shell, or like I was becoming a somehow rock. And at the same time, I also got fired. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. And then I was sad about my degree, like my college degree, not really getting to my life anymore. And then I had a fight with some friends in Rio. And a mix of things was happening. I was also meeting new group of friends, and then I was like not sure what to do. Should I go back to my previous friends? Should I invest on the new friendships? It was a mess, and then I felt very depressed. But this situation of like shutting down and like not being able to open your emotions to others or like explain things, that took me years to be able to like go back to those people in Rio and really tell them how I was feeling and what was going on. The thing is that the story with those friends I had in Rio was not good in the end, even when I returned to talk to them, because actually we actually fought again, and then we are not friends anymore. But at least this time I know for sure that they now comprehend this my side of the story. But when I returned, they were not really that open to have me around them anymore. So I was like, okay, if you guys are not like giving it 100%, I'm also not going to stay here and everything. Because I was like always unsure during that time if I made the right decision of like isolating myself or not. But at the same time, I was feeling like that. So even if I didn't want to, that's how I was behaving like. And when I finally was able to kind of feel better about everything I was going through, I contact them again, and then I really tried to reconnect, but it did not work that great. Which is fine. At least I learned a lot of things about myself and also about friendships and relationships and things in general that I still use today. Or like I still I'm applying the lessons I got from my own experiences pretty much. So I even don't commit the same mistakes again, right? But yeah, maybe he went through something like that, some sort of depression and sadness that really shut him down, and he was really blocked from exposing his feelings. Because when you are feeling like that, you really it's going to be a paradox. When you feel like that, you don't feel anything pretty much. Like you can't really feel much about anything, because that's how depression is. Like it kind of vanishes with your emotions. Like you feel empty, you feel alone, you feel lonely, and it's like very bad. So maybe he couldn't open up because of that. And then it takes time. It takes time for you to start feeling better and putting the pieces together so you can really understand what was going through you or like inside of you, and then even have the opportunity to expose all of that to others. But unfortunately, even though I kind of started to feel much better from that depression, I won't say that it's gone forever. No, there are some couple days that I can feel a little bit more lonely and stuff. But unfortunately, I think that was the start of my anxiety. Like, it's funny that, and thankfully, that when I was starting with that depression, I did not have the anxiety together. But once that depression faded, the anxiety happened, sometime later. And then the anxiety is what stays with me for the longest. And then the depression has been way more softer. Only when a situation really happens that's kind of sad to me. But again, you kind of keep on learning and how to deal with everything. Like I said, now I have the freaking essences to use to help me out too. I'm also exercising more. It was one of my goals of this year. I jumped rope this week too. I think I did that 2 days ago. I'm loving it. It's so simple and practical. Very exhausting, but I did get I felt much better like during the night before going to bed because like I was peaceful thanks to exercising. So you learn from all of the problems, all of the situations you go through. Even though when you're going through them it sucks. But they never last forever. Um, so it's because he has been very heavily struggling with his head injury and probably other things he hasn't shared yet. He told me that he struggles to be out of the house any longer than 30 minutes, but he's hoping to feel better soon. Um, could it be because of lack of self-confidence or something? I mean, that also sounds a little bit like agoraphobia. Hopefully that's how it's said in English. But maybe that head injury he has kinda makes him to, not feel too confident about himself. And maybe that's what makes him afraid of even exposing his feelings and things. Did he start therapy? Therapy really helps. But a few weeks ago, he asked me if I enjoy reading. Another thing that I'm back to and loving, I'm reading again. And I told him like I read about a lot of things, but I never really read books. I only read one book ever. Has he been reading? So he asked if I would be interested in reading a book and then chatting about it. Something like a book club. That could be an opportunity for you to actually see if you can be more interested on that. So you said, okay, it's something I have never really done and would also depend on like who is all in on this and level of expectations and commitment. And he clarified it would just be you and him. So I was even a little bit more confused because it's something you never been offered to do and was caught off guard. Yeah, you guys will need to decide on a book that could be interesting for you both, right? So I said, sure, and you guys are reading Fingerprints of the Gods by Graham Nolan. And then it just started yesterday. Oh, Counterfighter, there we go. Yeah, that's the word I was trying to remember. What is this book about? I don't know why it sounded more like a non-fictional book, or is it fictional? But I have been reading and loving the third book of the Game of Thrones, right? I will grab it. Oh yeah, by the way, I left my 3DSs like spot passing each other, and they did it. And by the way, Nintendo Switch, if there is something that I wanted to bring back, is this, because the spot pass is the best thing about a 3DS. So I'm going to turn them off and then deal with the mini games later. Okay, I'm back. I have been reading, like I said, the third book of the Game of Thrones collection. How is this in English? They probably will have it here. A Storm of Swords. Yes, I'm reading A Storm of Swords by George R. Martin. Many fans say that this is the best book, so I'm excited for that. I have been reading it for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm there as you can see, so there is a bunch left. I'm around page 180 something. Yeah, 183. And the more I advance on that story, the more I read it. Like today, I was reading it for a lot of time during the afternoon, even when I was not sunbathing, because I was getting more and more intrigued by the suspense they were creating on it. So, little by little, I'm devouring that book. But the best recommendation that I can give you, Ultros, is that don't push yourself towards like reading a lot on a day, but do your best to read a little bit each day. You know, go slowly, like maybe, I don't know, 5 pages per day, or if you can, like a chapter per day. I have been reading it on chapters. Yeah, this one I'm reading it on chapters because the chapters are normally not too long, and they are a very good moment to stop until you start reading back another day or reading again on another day. But yeah, I'm loving to be back to reading, and then after it, I will try reading some more works from my favorite writer, which is Haruki Murakami. I have his book called Kafka on the Shore. I have its ebook actually, and I want to read it. Everyone, or like many people, say it's another one of his best books, so I gotta give it a shot. But this one will still take me some more time. But like I said, the more I read it, the more I want to keep on reading it. So it's been fantastic. I'm also reading, by the way, this one that's shorter. I mean, I'm reading it very casually. I'm not really dedicating myself too hard on it. But it is actually a book about English. Because it is, I mean, it is pretty much in Portuguese, but for example, on this chart, there are some English words in there. I don't know if you can see it because the focus of this camera sucks. But this is actually a book by a Brazilian YouTuber that's an English teacher, and it's even autographed. Keep learning, Karina. Yeah, and I love her because her videos and some other videos from other teachers on YouTube, they are very great to like teach, of course, not only the language but also the culture of other places. So yes, I decided to buy her book with some English tips. Many of them will be something that I either have learned through my mistakes or that like I have learned through her videos, or like I have also learned by talking to you all here on the streams. But I have been reading this one because it's shorter, it's more casual, and it's the one that I read when I wanna sleep. Like if I'm not feeling sleepy, reading something helps you to feel sleepier. So I have been reading it for that in particular. When I really want to read something but not go to sleep, then I read the Game of Thrones book. Also, hey Ritsu, what's up, man? We are talking about books in here. Do you like to read? Okay, let me go back. Also, I need to read what Victor was saying. Let me go a little bit back. It's more convincing than the fake you have where you got them. Wait, where they got all of the fonts slightly wrong. And the problem about those cards are their colors as well. You can kind of spot they are printed like, you know, in a shady way. But the fonts are the same. The fonts are not the problem on mine. Do you still own your Pokemon cards, Victor, by the way? You should sell them too, right? You know something that I saw that I really liked about the Pokemon cards though? One of the videos that I was looking on YouTube to help me out on how to identify the fake versus the real Pokemon cards, I saw this one girl that she had on her decoration of her room. How am I going to explain this? She had a frame. It was like a black frame, but the frame had a hole, and the hole was shaped on a shape of a Pokemon. I remember she had a Squirtle and a Litwick, Victor probably doesn't know who is Litwick. It's like a Pokemon from the 5th generation, so I will ignore Litwick right now. Let's focus on Squirtle, because I'm hoping everybody knows Squirtle, right? So it was like a black frame with like a black piece of paper with a hole shaped like a squirrel, and then on the back or behind this black paper or black frame there were tons of squirrel cards. So basically the the, the silhouette of the squirrel was filled with different squirrel Pokemon cards. That was such a cool idea, you know, also because the way she organized those cards were highlighting the squirrel art more than like the, you know, the attacks and the other text and things. No, they were highlighting the squirrel arts from different squirrel cards. I thought it was such a cool idea. So that's something else you could be doing with your own Pokemon cards, but then that one will demand some handcrafting, right? So you can also create that shape and that frame and everything. But it was such a cool idea. I didn't know that. I need to do that to test on your own cards now. Yes, like I said, it's not 100% a method, but it was one of the best methods I could find so far. Although I also gotta say, when I was testing it on some of my cards, I was in doubt. Because there were a couple cards that I could see a little bit of light getting through the print, but at the same time I kind of really felt those cards were real, you know? So there are some cards that I'm a little bit like, I'm not sure, but as the rest of the pack kind of looks real. Also because I really don't remember buying fake cards that much. I do know when I bought those fake cards. It was when I was visiting the place where my parents are right now, actually. Like, my parents are in the Northeast region right now. When I was there years ago, I remember going to the shopping mall, and then we found one store in there, and then unfortunately the cards they sold me were those fake cards. But the rest of the cards, I'm kind of certain I kind of got them from a somewhat trustworthy place in my city. Um, so that's why I'm certain, or like I'm positive, that I won't have many fake cards. But yes, like I said, we are never really sure. Like, sometimes it's difficult to see it, but that was a very like powerful way of telling right away, like, oh, this is real or this is fake. But the other thing that's really really positive, Victor, is for you to really check the thickness of the card to see if you can see a thin black line in there, because that's the third and mid paper that the card will have on its print. Not to mention that another thing I noticed is that the sizes of fake cards and real cards are different as well. So if you really put one on another and they have a different size, that's another good way for you to say, oh, this is real and this is fake, you know. Those cards that I showed you, they have different sizes from the original ones. So another hint for you. So I have been organizing and everything like that in here, so hopefully I can start selling those cards. But then, like I said, I wish I knew how to send those cards to other countries, but I'm scared. But I will still see if I can work on the possibility. Sell it to me, dirty cheap, or wait, dirty cheap, and I will promise I will take good care of it. I actually was bold enough to like tell my friends, hey friends, do you still own Pokemon cards? And if you're doing nothing with them, would you like give them to me? I messaged my friends like that. Unfortunately, like nobody replied, rip. But I had to try, you know, I had to try. Oh my god, wait. Let me see what Otros is talking about regarding the book. He's never been one ever to like care about that angle of things in life. He's always been super open and down to earth and honest with people, to me, and about anything. I think just how he's physically feeling with head problems and also the crashing down of a few things affected by that, like having to drop out of school near the end, drop out of work. Yes, a lot of things when they get combined, they can really put you down. Like I said, I was fired. I had the fight with my friends. I was getting to know new friendships and things, and everything was turbulent. Nothing was certain, and it was very impactful. And then it put me on a depressed mode that I had to overcome little by little with the years later. So I can understand him a little bit, even though we went through different things. Like I did not have a head injury. I did have a mental injury though, right? My depression and anxiety. Drop out of work, move back to live with his family, and then him and his girlfriend separated. It's about historical maps and science of Antarctica that strongly suggests that the widely accepted theory that the Ice Age timeline is way off for the Southern Pole. What is that theory about? I've never heard of it. But that's just the first chapters. It's non-fiction. Yeah, it sounds like non-fiction. I should go back to read some non-fiction books because I have read some very good ones. Like there is one that's called The Universe and the Teacup. I love that book so much. I even read it 2 times. It's about math and how math is in our lives, but it's done in a very easy to understand way, right? It's not going to be a boring book. It's more like an interesting book about the importance of math in our lives. It's by Casey Cole, I think. The Universe and the Teacup. I love that book so much that I even bought the other book by hers that was about physics. This one about physics I didn't like as much as the math one, but both were really good. I read them when I was studying, so they really helped me to get more motivated and interested on the subjects I was studying, especially statistics. Yes, I had this trauma from high school about statistics, and then I knew I was going to have a degree, or not a degree but a class of statistics during my degree, and then I was like, holy shit, I'm screwed. But then in the end it was not as bad, and I finally got some understanding towards statistics. But in my high school I hated statistics. And then those books about those topics, they helped me to make amends with math. So it's compelling, right? It's compelling evidence of a civilization on Earth that is not a part of our history. Do you mean aliens? Or something else? And then you play the X-Files theme right now. But he is talking more, sounding more like himself. He has never really addressed the elephant in the room, but with that, or with what he has been sharing, his sort of indirectly is letting me know why he has disappeared. I see. But from what it's sounding, it's like I said, it sounds a lot like depression to me. Maybe it is something else, but his here's something that I will say right away, Ultras. If he's depositing that amount of confidence and trust on you, I think that he hardly will vanish again. Yeah, I think this time he's back for real. If of course you kind of give him the space for him to vent and open up with you and everything. But at the same time, although it's something really hard for me to say right now, because if I will never forget when I was told this and how I really did not think I needed that by the time I was depressed. But I remember one of my friends telling me straight away, you should look for therapy. And then I was like, no, but I had my own deals on therapy, you know. No, I will find my way myself, or like I will overcome it myself and everything. And then look of what happened. If only I had therapy years back, you know. At least I got therapy at some point, but I know that it's going to be kind of hard, I think, for like your friend to understand how he needs or he should look for therapy. But you should tell him that at some point as well, because even though he doesn't do anything about it, at some point of his life, like what happened to me, I looked after therapy when I was like having my crisis, and it did work out miracles with me. But was it fast? No. Was it easy? Also no. And then you also had to open up a lot. You don't actually really to open up everything, but you do need to open up a lot during a therapy session. And you can really learn a lot about yourself when you put things out. And if you really pay attention to what you're putting out, you can understand more about your own behavior, what you like, what you don't like, you know, how things are, how you have like a disaster creator machine on your brain that's not really what exists. So like you keep on creating and thinking on bad situations, but that's not how things really are, or not necessarily. So once you really, you know, have a click about that, it does help you a lot. Not 100%, because like depression, anxiety, and many other mental issues are somehow I don't want to say permanent, but they, you know, have cycles. They come and go, they come and go, and then you kind of live with it or learn how to live with it. But definitely it can be helpful if he has a friend like you, and if he has therapy. It's going to work miracles for him. And and also if he needs maybe getting a psychiatrist, like with some medication too, that can also help him in case he has somehow heavy depression or something like that. And sunbathing, man. Everybody should sunbathe, because sunbathing is so good. It is so overrated. I mean, underrated. He also yesterday asked me for someone's phone number he was friends with in high school and stopped. But I remained friends with him. It was over a girl, but I guess they never got it even. And that was like age 16 stuff, 10 years ago now. What did you do? Did you give him her phone? I think you should, but you also should let her know that he's going to try making contact, right? So you don't create a situation with your friend. So he's also reaching out to people to extend the olive branch. I have no idea what is that, man. But it sounds a very interesting book, though, about the mysteries of civilization. So that's the sign of trying to do something mindset. I would say that I'm not a huge reader. I love to read, but I had a big pause, right? During this pandemic, I couldn't read anymore, and then only now I'm back to reading, and I'm loving it. I try not to stop. I won't sell them. I like my humble collection. Look at you, Victor. You saw my humble collection, and the first thing you said was like, oh, that card. It's like $1 million. Why don't you sell it? You sell it. And your childhood dreams, and then sell everything. And then you created like a mindset of myself of like, yes, I will do that. And then when I try to create the same mindset on yourself, you're like, my precious Victor, come on, man. I was here like, let's do it together. Let's motivate ourselves to to like sell our Pokemon cards, and then could you start selling? Oh, okay, I will start selling too. And a trading in there of like, if one support the other, they will be like, getting to the same objective. And then Victor's like, oh, sell yours, I don't care. I told you that, but don't do what I say, don't do what I do, right, Victor? That's how you work, right, Zealous? Yes, I see what you're doing. Yeah. I see you now, man. I mean, I'm joking, but thank you for uh, making that click on my mind that that I could sell those cards. But I'm a little bit disappointed that you're not jumping into that as well. Although I'm curious, I wish I could see your cards, like which rare cards you probably have. I mean, you probably have tons of first edition cards, like from the first generation, right? Because you are an old Pokemon fan. You're not like keeping the generations going. So you probably have very rare cards actually. And are they at a good state? Because some of mine were not. I don't have those sleeves, right? Plastic sleeves to protect them. So some of them are unfortunately not that great, but they still have their own value. So okay, let me see what else happened. Oh yes, the goal, right? We got a lot, man. We got a lot of help from all sorts of people. I was even not expecting some people to help me out during the week even. But yes, many people helped already, and we got this, man. We got this for real. Wait, I didn't tell you to sell it. You did. I just said it's valuable. Remind me during the week, and I will show you some of my cards. Where do you want me to remind you? Maybe on Twitter, right? It's where we communicate the most. I will tell you something about that on Twitter. Nothing much, Victor. Just got home. Going to do some gaming while the Super Bowl plays. Oh, is it happening, the Super Bowl? I mean, not that I watch it, but some people make a lot of like expectations, right, towards the ads and also the concerts. Are there going to be any good concert in there? Or are you actually watching the Super Bowl for the game? Because I actually heard that most people won't watch the Super Bowl for the game because some people even say that the sport is kind of boring. But they like the promotions, the ads, the event is fun. Interesting, you would think they would at least get the size right. Yeah, but sometimes they don't. But they still fool us, right, on their fake cards. Regularly published theories suggested that South Pole has been covered in ice for like 10,000 years. But there is evidence that says that the ice or much of the ice can be as little as 500 years old. That makes 500 years old is nothing. I mean, how would people not know that there was no icy there before 500 years old, Or 500 years? A theory endorsed by Einstein as well, but completely disregarded and shunned open apparently. That's so crazy, what? But it gets deeper than that because it's leading into what type of intelligent civilization existed in timelines where certain apps were created. Dude, you guys got a very deep book to start reading, what? I don't think it's going to be on the alien direction, just about a civilization like the Egyptians. Egyptians is something crazy to study for sure. Ancient Romans, same ones. An ancient civilization that is not noted or not studied. Yeah, he's definitely depressed. I'm not surprised. I asked him straight up, do you feel happy? He said something like he may get. I mean, everybody, right? Everybody has glimpses of happiness. It's not something that you can feel 24/7. But he knows that for sure he isn't. Something like that. He worded it differently. I don't like suggesting therapy, but I can see people suggesting and trying and seeing value. It's just that it is different, Getting support from friends is very good, of course, but it is not the same as getting therapy. You don't have the um, uh, I don't know how to say it. I mean, part of it is the professionalism, of course, but for some reason, and this is kind of crazy to even say it, but for some reason, if you do have a good therapist, you might feel more open to that therapist than, I don't know, to talk to some of your friends. Because I mean, maybe it's just because of like, oh, it's the person's job. Like, oh yeah, the therapist is there to really help you and support you. So you can say whatever, and the person will be there supporting you and helping you and everything because it's the person's job. But if you get a good therapist, you will see that the person really wants to help you out on your matters. You know, so it is a bit different. Not saying that your friends won't be there to help you, of course they will, but sometimes, I don't know if you guys can relate to that, you don't open everything to your friends. And I felt very more, or much more open on very different aspects when I was doing therapy. Of course, that goes with time, like little by little, but I noticed that difference. For example, to my therapist, I could talk about my deals with my friendships, with my deals with my finances, with my deals of my degree that I don't identify myself as an engineer anymore. I told my therapist a lot about my family. Like I don't talk a lot about those things to my friends, like on with deepness. And by doing it, I could also see the big picture on myself, and then I could understand how do I behave or how do I treat such matters and everything, and then work with that. But of course, like I said, any help helps. So friends, family, sunbathing, working out, exercising, and also if you can, like doing therapy. I just do what I need to do as a friend. That itself can be considered. It can, but it's not the same. That's the thing, and then you don't realize it unless you start doing it. Like I told you, I had a friend telling me to start therapy, and I was like, no, I can do it myself. Like, I don't need therapy, or like therapy is for crazy. In the end, I have to like eat those words and say that everybody should get therapy. Actually, everybody, because it does can be helpful. I think for me, it's like reaching a point where you recognize that there are people that simply know information that you don't. There is also that, yes. You can always learn things from others and professionals and like friends from everybody. So you gotta communicate and try it until you find those answers or more information or ways of thinking that you don't. Yes, we are more limited than we realized oftentimes, especially when it comes to the ability of self-regulate our things or behaviors. Oh, Victor is going out. All right, man. Have a great night. It's way past your bedtime. I hope at the other stream you can check out the game, right? I was just chatting, but I hope you can see this game. It looks a lot like Chrono Trigger. But take care, Victor. Have a good week, man. Sell your cards and also get your setup ready for the Sims. And I will try to remind you about showing me some of your cards, but in case I also forget about doing it, I'm sure we will talk about this matter at other points too, and then at some point you can show me your cards. But take care, man. Have a good week and goodbye. The girl isn't involved. Him and the other friend, both guys, they had a falling out over a girl in high school, and I remained friends with both. Never pried or pushed for them to be friends or anything, but I recall both of them saying a while ago that there was no interest in being friends again. Okay, but then time has passed by, and if there is something that I learned from a certain disturbing movie that's called Irreversible, is that time destroys everything. That's pretty much the motto of that movie. It's a very heavy movie, very disturbing movie, both physically and mentally, but especially physically, very graphical. Although this phrase or this motto, it sticks with you after the movie. And time destroys everything for both and good. And in this case, even though they said that in the past, maybe things have changed, man. For example, in my case, after I had my enclosure time where I couldn't put out my feelings or speak up to my friends, and then I fought my friends, and then I distanced myself and everything, time has passed, and then we got to a point where I didn't feel any anger, hate, or like, anything bad towards my friends, and then they also didn't. We just pretty much lived on. And then we were like, hey, let's talk again? Would you be open to talk again or something? I mean, of course, it's relative. Like, some people may still have a grudge against others and things, but time can heal, or like, time can change things. So they could at least, I don't know, have a not necessarily they will become friends again or anything, but like they could at least set the cards or place the cards on the table, like this is what happened, I'm sorry, that's it, have a good life, something like that. Time can change things a lot, more than what we think. I also, yeah, I could have asked the one person to first give the phone number, but I didn't. I can talk the blame if it caused a problem, or you can take the blame. But it shouldn't anyway, they were friends, they would have each other phone numbers, that's true, right? I didn't tell you to sell, oh yeah, Victor talking about the cards. Twitter is the best, there we go. Oh, Ritsuru is also leaving. Just stopped by to say hi, mostly alright, man. Thank you for stopping by, enjoy the Super Bowl, we can talk more next time, right? Friends on Discord want to watch Super Bowl together. Oh, really? There we go. That sounds awesome. Let me know also if they had some cool ads and concerts like I was saying, because I don't know anything about Super Bowl. I didn't know it was happening tonight, but enjoy it, man. Have fun. They both good guys. I always felt them being that way. It was a waste of a friendship for both, but again, it's not for me to try and fix anything for them. When people say that like to love is to hate, that's that kind of has a point, because those two feelings are very connected. Uh, like there are many people out there that today or at this moment they might hate another person, but it's actually, like you said, people that they had a good friendship, or like they kind of care for each other, but things, situations, miscommunication, everything put them at the hate state. But it could be love, it is hard to really explain with words what I was trying to say, because also it's about emotions. But there is a truth, or there is truth on that, in my opinion. Like, to hate is to love. There is a logic behind it, and I think that logic is mostly connected to expectations. Like, sometimes it's because of like, I like you so much, but I don't see it coming back to me, or like you don't get my expectations or something, and then the hate feeling starts, or like jealousy, or something like that. The thing is that if they care, but caring in a meaning of like either loving or hating, it's like um, you're not what is the word in English? Unnoticeable, maybe. Like, you're not, you haven't disappeared to me. Like, I still think on you, either with love or hate. If that exists, I think it is possible to like make a change. But then is it easy? No. It can be hard as well, or it demands time. I being friends with both never posed any problems, so they sound very understandable. Or understanding, maybe. Because sometimes when you are friends of people that don't talk to it anymore, it's complicated. They kind of could be pressuring you to like, don't stay with that person anymore. I hadn't chatted with the other one in like a year or so, just naturally not for any bad reason. I can also understand that. So I did say that was his number, at least as of a year ago. And he said, I haven't spoken to him in years. And I just said, if that's your plan, then best of luck. So I guess he will. I hope he can reach out to this other friend, because it's going to be somebody else to like hopefully allow him to be more open with others, right? I know someone else he was friends with was a little territorial about friendships, and he liked the idea of those two guys not being friends anymore. Christian is sort of the person you wanted to yourself as a friend because of how good person he is. I think he is trying to reconnect to like his old self, but he's reconnected to his old self in a different way, because of course things are different now. Now he's probably more understanding, and he's probably more aware of the things he lost through time and the consequences of everything that happened to him. But I say it not blaming him for anything, because you don't know how would you behave under his circumstances, right? You don't know how heavy would be the impact of the things you told me that happened to his life, like um, breaking up and having the head injury. You know, all of those things combined, they can really change a person or like break a person. So at a moment like this, especially after so many time has passed by and he's opening up to you and trying to open up to other of his friends or others, it is very important for you guys to kind of give him the second chance. And also not create expectations. Of course, you can have a little bit of expectation of like, okay, this time things will work out. But even if it doesn't work out in the end, like what was in my case, after I reached out to my old friends again after I had my breakdown, and it did not work out, the afterwards, or like the past reconnection, will be positive for both sides or for everyone, because everyone will be more understanding, or like everyone will have more knowledge of everything, like the big picture. Like, I don't know what happened to us in the past, now you're providing me with the answers, so I can move on peacefully with or without you, depending on how the new friendship or the new cycle goes on. This actually reminds me of, since we were talking about books, it's not easy for me to get it right. Yes, I don't think it is easy for me to get it right now, but there is a book called um, maybe it's better for me to type it, but I'm trying to remember the name as well. Um, Man, what is the name? It has a name in the title. Chizuru something. Let me Google it. And his years of pilgrimage. It's Chizuru Tazaki, I think. Chizuru Tazaki. It's a Japanese book, by the way. Chizuru Tazaki and his years of pilgrimage. It's by Haruki Murakami. I was mentioning him earlier. It is exactly about this. It is exactly about having a situation with old friends, years passing by, everyone kind of isolating one person of that friendship group for years, and then that person reaching out every single one of those friends to understand or to like see and explain or get answers of what really happened between their friendship. Tsuru Tazaki, isn't it? Tsukuru, there we go. Tsukuru Tazaki. Yeah, so the whole number of the book is Colorless, Tsukuru Tazaki and His Years of Pilgrimage. It's by Haruki Murakami. It's about this situation of losing friends, years passing by, and then trying to reconnect to them. It is this book. Colorless, Tsukuru Tazaki and His Years of Pilgrimage. Or Pilgrimage. Very good book. But I'm like a big fan of the writer, so maybe my opinion is a little bit overrated, but it's a very good book. Anyway, after an hour and 48 minutes of chatting, which by the way should not be over right now, before I forget, Ultras, I have this to show. Full cam. There we go. Look at this. This time I'm showing some drinks on stream. This is actually a Guaraná syrup. Guaraná is my favorite soda or pop, and it's like a Brazilian sort of berry. And I don't have the soda because I'm kind of cutting soda from my life. I still drink it when I'm like in a party or like when I'm hanging out with friends, but I don't buy it or I try to avoid it. I kind of replace it with something better like juice or water or something else. But I love Guaraná. So this is the syrup. It's a little bit better, but of course it's still full of sugar and some bad things. But Guaraná is great. I know some places in the US you can find the soda. It's called Guaraná Antarctica. And actually, Ultras was talking about Antarctica, and here we go again, connecting the topics. Yeah, Guaraná Antarctica. Antarctica is the brand. It is very good. I know Meowser has had it before. Meowser and somebody else too, I think. Highly recommended. But then the syrup is also great. And it has some... It is very energetic, right? It's a little bit like acai on like giving you an energy. It really makes me happier after I drink this, or more motivated. Hence, some people that are in the fitness universe like to have some Guaraná powder or Guaraná supplements or something on their diet, right? But this is really great. By the way, Ultros, that's a very nice emote you have in there. Oh, and how is the Final Fantasy IV, right? You were playing Final Fantasy IV. Did you play it more? And now, I will start the Cosmic Star Heroine. Let's go. Hopefully the controller stays alright. Oh my god, it's not. Seriously? Wait a minute. Okay, there we go. I'm scared because if the controller goes crazy during fights, and then we know now that the fights are hard, this can be a big deal. Good, you're playing it every Monday. No wonder it was getting cold in there. Oh, by the way, I should turn off the air conditioner. Good call. It was getting cold in there and the floor is cold. You left your balcony door open. It's minus 14 grounds. I almost said it in Portuguese. Minus 14 degrees. There we go. I almost said graus, which is the degree word in Portuguese. In here it's at at a good temperature. Oh my god. I'm really scared about this controller. Let me check it. I would guess it's like 26 degrees Celsius, maybe a little bit higher. Oh my god, it's spot on. 26 degrees in here. Oh no, I don't like this week. The sun was out. I don't want that week full of rain and thunder and lightning. No, I want the sun. Oh my god, I hope I don't struggle with like insomnia and everything again. Jesus, it's a whole... Oh my goodness! It's up to Sunday? Dude! And then the temperature raised a little bit now. But it's up to Sunday, the freaking rains. Man, I will need to get the most use of like times of the day when the sun is a little bit out. Perfection? Not anymore! It's ruined, it's going to rain for the whole week. And then my parents are coming back on Friday, so I hope that they don't get this rain. The only thing I remember after this exploration here is the one soldier that was talking about how he felt thirsty, and then I was like, maybe this is a side quest, like we should bring this guy a drink. Does he want some guarana? Do you want this? But I'm not sure, it's just a guess, so I will test that out in case we can find a drink in the game. But let's talk to everybody again, let's get more used to this game. Why does the agency even need guards? Most people are here, or most people here are trained killers, more than capable of protecting themselves. Praise the sun! That's a Dark Souls reference, isn't it? The sun guy there, I forgot his name. That's a character that people even wanted to join Smash Brothers. Wait. Oh my god. Now I see an icon on my computer, probably saying that my controller was disconnected. Yep. Okay, let me try to replug it. There we go, there we go. Don't tell my supervisor I said that, I like my job. Welcome to API Direct. Passcode error. Insert registered data card. You know what? I forgot to write that down, that we need to find a new data card. So I will consider that like a side quest. Find new data card. I believe the game will give me that easily, it sounds important, but... Oh, his name is Solaris. My character related to the sun reference that I can remember and use right now is the Wi-Fi trainer saying, salute the sun. Not praise the sun, but it's close enough. Salute the sun. Yeah, the Wi-Fi trainer. By the way, did you guys watch the Nintendo Direct? I gotta say that in my opinion, it was one of the best Nintendo Directs for the last times, right? Or like since a while. It was fantastic in my opinion. Was it perfect? No, but I was excited with many surprises in there. Or most of its announcements were somehow very good in my opinion. Especially the comeback of the Nintendo Sports franchise or brand with the Nintendo Switch Sports. And I'm a big lover of the Wii Sports Resorts game. I don't want a Wii, and I haven't played that game many times, but I played it a couple times, and I have a nostalgic feeling towards it that I can't explain. The same towards another game that was also in that Direct, Chrono Cross, coming back, finally, and getting remastered for the Switch. That's another nostalgic game to me for reasons that I can't explain, even though I played Chrono Cross like 4 or 3 years ago, maybe 3 or... Yeah, 3 years ago sounds correct, on stream, and I feel nostalgic about it every freaking time. So I love the Chrono Cross announcement, and the game is looking great. I have a friend that's also a big fan of the franchise. He was maybe expecting the graphics to be even better, but in my opinion, it's looking amazing. Maybe my friend was expecting them to rework on the game since they scratch or from scratch. That sounds like too much for Square to be doing, I would say. And I like how the graphics got upgraded, but they are still looking like the original game, you know? So I don't see that as a problem. I actually like that a little bit, because then it's still going to have the visuals that were great, in my opinion. Yeah, we got Chrono Cross, that's what matters, that's what Summer said. And then Kirby looked interesting, or interesting for him. Yes, I'm loving this new Kirby game too. These new transformations were very like Mario Odyssey, so I can't say that they were very original on that. But the game looks cute, fun, and even though Kirby is normally a very easy game, like you won't have a big hardship on the game, it looks very fun. So it is a game that I'm also very excited to see more in the future. But I feel sad that at the same point, I don't know if I had a Switch, if I would like pay full price for that game. But it's definitely a game that I would love to play because it looks fun. Yeah, you on stream playing that introduced you to one of your favorite video game songs, dude, the Chrono Cross OST. It's complete on Spotify, on YouTube. I listen to it a lot. It's so good. Dreams of a Shore Near Another World. Yes, I think you got the name correct. Or World Near Another Shore or something. Yes, that song is a blast. If you look it up, I know which song you're talking about. You're talking about the Overworld. Probably we heard that song a lot too, because I was like chatting and then, you know, leaving the overworld in there on the background, and then I was chatting. In my opinion, Ultras, Chrono Cross has the best soundtrack in general. Like, I don't want to exaggerate, but it's like every song is a masterpiece, you know? Every song is good quality. There is no bad song in there. I'm not saying that it will have, I don't know, my favorite specific song of video games. That's then a very difficult thing to answer. But in a collection of soundtrack or like of songs, it is the best in my opinion. Very close to Donkey Kong Country's 2 soundtrack, because that used to be my favorite. And then Chrono Cross surpassed Donkey Kong Country 2 in my opinion. Because Donkey Kong Country 2 is also another game with like every song is like a masterpiece. I'm happy you heard that song, Ultras, because it is freaking awesome. My favorite songs of that soundtrack are probably this one you mentioned. Also, how is it called? Star? Now that I'm playing Cosmic Star Heroine, I'm thinking on it. No, it's Star something. It's Star something girl, right? Yes, I forgot the name of the song as well, but it's Star something girl. And also the credit song, which is called Radical Dreamers. And then great that Radical Dreamers, the novel, or like the how is it called? The graphic novel, pretty much, right, was included on this bunch with Chrono Cross Remastered. I like that a lot. It was a big surprise. And I also liked that Chrono Cross Remastered is coming to Steam, or like it's going to be released on computer or for PC. At the moment I was thinking it was just on Nintendo Switch, but no, it's also coming out for Steam. And we also have the price. The price is a little bit high, or like it hurts a little bit. It is 90 reais. I'm not sure how much is it in English. 90 reais is a little bit high, but it is for a very good game. And then of course there will be sales in the future, so that's fine. I like the stability, but sometimes I wonder what my life would be like if I were a field agent and not a spy support personnel. I would have a cool code name like Crimson Tiger, fancy space cars, beautiful women, exotic drinks. What a life. Who am I kidding? I would get killed on my very first mission. Still talking about the direct, I also really like that Earthbound and Earthbound Beginnings are coming for the Switch as well. Great RPGs in my opinion. Too bad that Mother 3 was still not there, but at the same time a little bit understandable because it is a messed up game. But why they don't release it with like an M-rated game, you know, like mature rated game, so everybody can be happy. And I also really liked the comeback of Klonoa. I never played Klonoa, but that was some shocking news to see that old franchise coming back from ashes. Happy to see that Advanced Wars is progressing as well, and then it's going to have online multiplayer. I'm pretty sure the fans are happy towards that game. There was more that I loved about that direct. Oh yes, of course! Freaking Mario Kart 8 getting DLCs, especially my all-time favorite racetrack, Coconut Mall, and thank goodness there is Coconut Mall on my Mario Kart 7, so every time I'm playing it and chilling, I go there to the online mode and then I ask for like, let's play Coconut Mall, you know, you can pick the track you wanna race. I go for Coconut Mall, Luigi's Raceway. I don't think there is Luigi's Raceway on the Mario Kart 8 game. I hope it gets on the DLC. Those are probably my two favorite tracks on Mario Kart. So I really like those news as well. As usual, you're the only one on your team who bothered to turn in all your reports on time. I'm just doing my job. I appreciate your punctuality, I really do. Now if you could only talk some sense to your co-workers. Now that's an impossible mission if I ever heard one. I should get one of those newfangled ergonomic keyboards. I do a lot of typing. I'm not kidding, the amount of typing I do is excessive. Without proper ergonomics, I could be crippled by the end of this conversation. I'm pretty sure I talked to this woman as well. Her name is Echo. I hear you did good work in the hostage situation. I don't know why she looks like a party member potential person. Maybe it's because she has a profile art, you know? Of course, I would have done even better, but I can't be everywhere. I heard, or I read actually, I read everywhere, and then I just straight up remembered Fleetwood Mac's song called Everywhere. Highly recommended. If you wanna feel happier or like if you wanna feel good, Fleetwood Mac Everywhere. That song puts me up every time I listen to it. Even thinking about it makes me wanna feel happy. Such a good song. Oh, look at her putting up her glasses. I also remember talking to this Power Ranger lookalike. Field Agent Alyssa, I can't read her surname. Lesale? Alyssa Lesale. Maybe that's how it's said, because it has a good, you know, rhythm. Alyssa Lesale. Please do not disturb my patrol routine. But you're just going in... Never mind. If I add these two figures, multiply the result with itself, and carry the 1, there is a 100% chance that this base will spontaneously, oh my god, that's hard, spontaneously, there we go, burst into flames. Of course, that's crazy talk. Everyone knows you never carry the 1 when dealing with temporal displacement math or mathematics. Don't deal with time because... Oh look! It's the girl that was in our party, Chan, right? I hope she comes back to our party. But don't mess with time, because it's going to mess back with you. or mess you back. Gotta get in shape for the agency marathon. Hey, did you know that you can run by holding the cancel button? What will they think of next? I hope they think on a way on fixing my controller, because I don't want to have the analog stick messing with it. Is that coffee? Oh. Arenu's General Appliances brand Drink-O-Matic. It looks more menacing than would expect from a piece of beverage technology. Maybe it's not coffee. Here we are, an elite force constantly facing life and death situations, and the cafeteria doesn't even have a food reparticulator. Heat settings low, high, and incinerate. That sounds dangerous. I do like how not every, but many objects in here they have a somehow dialogue to them. That's good. It makes me want to really explore. What to buy? What to buy? Can I buy something? I think I might have money, right? With my last paycheck, I finally got a Cyber Eye upgrade. Everything looks amazing most of the time. I started a firmware download and now I can't see a thing until it's done updating. I'm stuck here. I have been taking small sips, but I can only stretch out this cup of nutrient-rich wonder sludge for so long. I mean, you are not drinking anything though. Okay, so... Okay, I get it now. It's because of her or his. I think it's a woman, right? So I will say her. It's because of her new Cyber Eye thing that she can't see if she's drinking something or not. And you're not. What about this guy? The woman across the table keeps looking this way. Is she into me? No, she's thinking she's drinking your coffee, basically. Or maybe she is into you. Oh! There we go! This answers that earlier question of like, is this agent guy that's thirsty wanting to get a drink? In case I get a drink myself. Guarda! I could give him some. Look at us. I was expecting something more complicated, but I think this will be the answer then. Was this game ever given away? No, man. But I bought it for a very good deal. But it was never given away, not that I'm aware. But speaking of giveaways, everybody should go get the giveaway right now on Epic Games, and also the one for the next week. I gotta say that the current game in there, the one of next week and the one we got the week before, even though it was a repeated game, it was Ukulele and the Impossible Lair, they gave it away before just for 24 hours. In the last day of the year, so basically many people missed it out, but I was able to get it myself for free. So it's good that Ukulele was for free again for longer. But the game that's now, it's fantastic. It's called Wind what again? I forgot the complete name of it. But it's a very good game because it looks a lot like a Zelda Breath of the Wild game, like an adventure game that has an art style and graphics a lot like I think it's Windbound, maybe? It's something like that. A lot like a link. I almost said A Link to the Past. Breath of the Wild. Is it going to be as good? Of course not. And even some of the ratings I saw of the game were somehow average. But I like the art style. It has its moments, it seems, even though the game might not be full of action 100%, but honestly I don't mind it that much. I do love to explore and, you know, like, enjoy the scenery and the soundtrack in case it has a good one. I'm pretty sure I will love that game. So even though it was a game I never heard before this giveaway, I highly recommend everybody getting it. And then the one of next week is another game that was under my radar. It's called Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, if I'm not mistaken. That's a game that was on my wish list on Steam, and then now I don't need to buy it anymore because Epic Games will be giving it away. Windblow... It's funny that I knew the name of the game because I have been recommending it to many of my friends, and now I forgot it. Today my memory hasn't been good. Windblow? No, it's not Windblow either. But it's wind word with B something for sure. Windburst? No, it's not that either. Let's get an answer, shall we? So we can be promoting the right game. Windbound, I think. Before testing this Soda side quest, I will see what Soda can do actually. Wind. It is windbound, there we go. Yeah, the art of it got my attention and it reminded me a lot of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Again, some of the reviews of the game were somewhat average, like 6 or 7 out of 10, you know? But first, those ratings are not necessarily accurate every time. And even if the game feels a little bit empty at times, they said on the reviews that it has very good moments, but it's not like full of action 100%. I'm fine with that. Like, if it's a chill game to explore and to like just pass your time, it's still worth playing in my opinion, especially for free. So I'm very curious about it. Oh, and still speaking of games, I told some people on Discord about this, like Subaru, that I would be continuing playing Nord by my own, right? Because Ord was the game we were playing on stream before this one. But we couldn't really get to the end of many of those modes, or like I wasn't sure if I was able to reach some of the endings of pretty much 4 out of 5 of those modes, right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to play Ord offline and give it more shots and attempts, and in case I get to some other endings or some other answers, I will try combining them and uploading them later on YouTube, on our channel on YouTube, and I will share it with people that might be interested to see the results we couldn't find on stream. I did that yesterday, or at least a little bit yesterday. I played Ord a little bit yesterday. And on the Dimensions mode, which was the one that we could only get to that very one depressing ending of like getting stuck in a loop of a workaholic and then going home and then everyone hates us, and then in the end we only had, or we could only like give up on our family to go back home, and then we were with an ending that was depressing and lonely and all sorts of, you know, bad feels. I went back to Dimensions, and surprisingly it didn't take long for me to finally find other options. Not on that one situation. On that situation we studied it a lot and we couldn't find any other alternative. I think once you get there, it's the depressing ending, the one you're getting, like the bad ending. But on the other 2 dimensions pretty much that you can stop by, which are the jungle and the one that's in a desert, but it's a futuristic desert. It reminds me a lot of the universe of the sci-fi Dune, right? Even though I still gotta watch the movie and read Dune, but like I'm pretty sure that was a kind of like a reference to Dune. I could find better endings on both. Yes, there was a better ending on the jungle, which in my opinion was the best ending. And then there was a good ending on the Dune sci-fi futuristic dimension as well. Of course, they were very specific, I died a lot, and then I had to reloop everything. But I managed to find better endings on dimensions. And then I'm still not complete with like the progress bar on it. So maybe I will still study it a little bit more, even for more achievements if possible. I also got some achievements. And then I will also upload those clips because I was recording the game when I was getting to those endings. But after I get all of them, I think after I go through every mode again, I only went 2 dimensions. But yes, I could get some progress in there, and I think the biggest reason why I couldn't get those progressions done on stream was because of chatting and distraction, because once I focused on that game, I understood even how could I get to each one of those dimensions on my own will, right? It was not I mean, it had some RNG involved, but I knew exactly, or I had a good feeling on exactly which dimension I was jumping into. And I can say that the one depressed dimension was always the second dimension you jump through portals. So for example, first you jump either to the jungle or to the desert, and then in case you decide to jump again from those to another dimension, you end up on the depressing world. So maybe that's what we did wrong on stream. I assumed that there would be multiple dimensions after the jungle and the desert, and then even after the depressing world. No, it's pretty much a game mode that wanted you to not keep on jumping through dimensions. They wanted you to stop on a dimension, study that dimension entirely, like the jungle or the desert, and find an ending in there, instead of like, you know, leaving your problems behind. And then only after really staying on those 2 places and studying them, and also of course committing mistakes and everything, I understood how they had an ending themselves to bring me back home, basically. So also, hey Gabriel, what's up, man? Doctor Strange trailer is mind-blowing. Is there going to be a new movie? I still gotta watch the freaking Spider-Man, the last one. It is on my like message board for me to like read it every time and then remind myself of watching it, but I still haven't. I have been so distracted or busy, but in my opinion for good things mostly, that I can't be I haven't been watching things in general. I also gotta watch Osama ranking, or the ranking of kings, that anime. It was like one of the few things I was watching properly, like every week. Even that I haven't watched yet this weekend. Want to buy what you buy. But yes, I was saying that Ord does have more endings, but it's because I was kinda thinking that I had to go into multiple dimensions, like further dimensions, and not really solving the problems of the earlier dimensions. And then I could find the answers for those. Once I'm done on going back to all of those modes and making the video, I will share that video, and then if somebody wants to see the answers, I'm trying to not spoil them right now. And then I hope I can find the answers for the other modes as well, especially the next one, which is the world. I don't know if there is a perfect world we can create, but I'll try it more. But then I will share them, yeah, the video. Look at this guy on his phone. Someone is saying that after Genshin Impact showing what people wanted, or showing that people wanted something like Breath of the Wild, now every game they announce look a lot like Breath of the Wild. In my opinion, that's good. Maybe at some point we will start feeling tired or exhausted on this formula. But for now, I think it's a good thing. For example, there is that other game by Square, right? That's called Man, I can't remember the names of things today. I couldn't remember the name of the book. I couldn't remember the name of the game. How is the one that Square is doing with the girl that goes isekai and then she's exploring another world with magic and things? Yes, I forgot the name of that one as well. I think it starts with U though. Something? Unsight? I'm not sure. But that game looks a lot like Zelda as well, in my opinion. And after the second trailer of it, I started to like it more. And then the Kirby game, right? Subaru Kirby has a little bit of Zelda. The Sonic game that's coming up next will be more open as well. Sonic... You see, I can't remember the name of the Sonic either. Is it Sonic Frontiers? I think it's Sonic Frontiers, right? For Doctor Strange 2, you should watch WandaVision. Yes, I haven't watched WandaVision, but I heard great things about it. And then Shang-Chi, my sister watched that and liked it a lot. Yeah, my sister liked Shang-Chi a lot. I heard about your great work on your last mission. That reactor could have blown us up if you hadn't been there. Just doing my job. The biggest accomplishment I have got on my record is destabilizing the Regulia system. And it didn't even take. It's stable now. The Regulia system? This is one of those things that they ask for the card, right? Oh, never mind, it's just a TV. News update. New Lupian relations tense after recent slew of mysterious citizen disappearances. New Lupian, huh? Will you ever visit their planet? I should check out the Loki series. I don't like the Norse mythology that much, like Loki. The Thor movies by Marvel, they never looked appealing to me. Maybe the What If series? The Sonic game made several think on Elden Ring. Yeah, Elden Ring is almost out, right? Isn't it going to be out this month or something very close like that? Which is funny because Sonic is after the rings. I still gotta watch the newest Sonic trailer though. I'm pretty sure there was a new Sonic movie trailer. And I'm also wondering, when is Nintendo going to show us more about the upcoming Mario movie, right? Because it's going to be released by the end of this year. When are they giving us like the first grasp of it? But yeah, I gotta watch the Sonic trailer. The only thing I saw was a clip of Sonic snowboarding, which was a reference to Snow Cap. Yeah, Snow Cap, Ice Cap. Ice Cap Zone from Sonic 3. So Breath of the Wild, which decided to make an open world RPG after The Witcher 3 became a game staple for RPGs regarding open worlds. Yeah, I don't see myself playing The Witcher still, but I should check out the series, like the Netflix show. So Genshin copied some of that style, and now people are copying Genshin. Yeah. And then we are going to have Breath of the Wild 2. Will it be copying Genshin? Or do you guys think that Breath of the Wild 2 will be another time, or once again, original? Oh! We're actually talking to Dave in person now. There we go, here where he is. I'm so close to connecting everything. The Freemasons, the Templars, the Space Illuminati. Oh my god, the Space Illuminati? I'm just missing a few crucial pieces to that puzzle. Is he playing a game? That sounds like a game. You've got way too much free time on your hands. A mission out in the field would do you a good... Man, I can't read. A mission out in the field would do you a world of good. There we go. Oh no, the controller. There we go. Yes, I think he's playing a game. He is. Look at his 3DS or tablet. The Witcher series is better if you know... Yes, I know nothing about The Witcher, so there we go, I'm ready for it. Although my sister spoiled me a little bit, but not much. May scratch the itch left by medieval fantasy from Game of Thrones, dude. I was even talking about this earlier. I'm finally reading Game of Thrones 3, A Torment of Swords. And I'm up to page 180, loving it. It's been super good so far. And then after I'm done with that book, I will be able to watch the 3rd season of the show. And then I will finally start to see why people say that's when the book goes off the series and vice versa. But yes, I'm finally back to read it. Somebody is asking me if that DLC of Breath of the Wild was out already. I think so. Like there was a... Yeah, there was a DLC out for a while already. Oh yeah, there is a more recent DLC for Hyrule Warriors, yeah. Wait, no. Maybe we're mixing up Breath of the Wild 2 with a DLC, man? Because the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer showed us some action on the sky. By the way, my mustache is getting to my nose. Yeah, maybe you are mixing up the trailers. Breath of the Wild 2 trailer showed us the sky. Maybe that's what you're thinking. And then that game was not out yet, but I think it's going to be out this year. Did you hear about Skybreaker Towers? Oh, I should write down that name because I couldn't remember the name of those towers. Skybreaker Towers. Gabrielle, what did you think about the Nintendo Direct? Besides, of course, Chrono Cross. Wasn't that just a routine hostage situation? Also, what did you think about Chrono Cross pricing? Because on Steam it is already 90 reais. I thought it was a little bit high, but again, it's worth because it's Chrono Cross. Also, hey Yoda, what's up, man? What did you think about the Nintendo Direct? Why hasn't there been a real Game of Thrones video game yet? I mean, there are a couple ones, aren't there? I was also happy about Portal finally getting to the Switch, like the 2 games. Those games are amazing. Wasn't that just a routine hostage situation? No, it was not like a practice or a test. That's what I thought. Turns out the entire building was primed to blow. Whoa, seriously? Isn't Skybreaker Towers close to here? It's too close, we are... Oh... Okay, they are finally answering something I couldn't understand last time. So they were very close to the towers. We are underground, so maybe we would have been safe, but who knows. Luckily, one of our agents prevented it from escalating. I mean, that agent is right in front of you guys. It's me, Alyssa, Sephiroth's female version. Oh my god, this controller... Oh, they talk about the same thing, okay. There is an official Game of Thrones game, one which is also a browser management game. Controller? Okay, controller, can you stop that? It is so sensitive. Okay, there we go. It was interesting overall about everything in regard to the Direct. I agree, and I even liked how they started with Fire Emblem. Because, like, I don't care about Fire Emblem, so if you have Fire Emblem news, like, throw them right away, and then after that's done, I can enjoy the whole rest of the Direct. So I liked how they started already with, like, Fire Emblem, here's Fire Emblem, And then after that, it was all, you know, satisfying and good. Not to say everything. I also don't like Splatoon 3, like I don't see myself playing Splatoon. But again, it's fine. And also Xenoblade 3 in the end was surprising, but still not 100% my thing. Even though I do have a somewhat connection to the Xenoblade universe thanks to watching a lot of the first game's playthrough. Even though today I might not remember everything I watched, but I remember liking to watch it. So yeah, Splatoon and Xenoblade 3 announcements were not like directed and targeted to me. But overall, fantastic direct. The Mario Kart 8 DLC's Coconut Mall, my favorite level, is coming to Mario Kart 8. Hopefully Luigi's Raceway is also coming up. And many other great levels. There was even somebody saying, is the last wave of tracks only like a Rainbow Road mashup? I would love that. Like, it's only Rainbow Roads on this freaking wave, right? I would love to see that. We had Nintendo Switch Sports. I loved it. The return of Mario Strikers. I never played it, but I was very happy for everybody that has been dreaming for playing freaking Mario FIFA game. Clono out of nowhere as well. The Kirby game looks amazing. Like I said, the Portal Duo, Chrono Cross, thank goodness. Advanced Wars with online mode. That game, Triangle Strategy, I think it's going to be very good as well. What else was in there? Yeah, those are the things I can remember now. Let me go back on the chat. Sabri is saying 90 reais in the pre-sale wasn't be a reasonable price. Oh, actually Sabri was expecting the price to be higher than that. But he's saying that it's always better to wait for sales. I agree, I would only buy it on a sale. I mean, the pricing is weird, but it seems fair when compared to all of the other remasters from Square. Yeah, and also it has the Radical Dreamers pack. The good thing about the Xenoblade 3, I gotta say, just a side note, especially because Gabriel isn't here. When they started that trailer with like the guy with, you know, long hair, but he had the ponytail or something, and then he was like playing that flute, I was like, Genosuke-senpai, is that you from Basilisk? Is this Basilisk the game or something? What the heck is this? So yeah, that was such a Basilisk vibes, you know, that trailer. Not only the opening, but also the ending with like that couple right there. Is this like some Basilisk shenanigans on Xenoblade or something? I just wanted to say that, especially because Gabriel isn't here, and I hope he had the same feeling when he saw that trailer or something. I don't know if Yoda has ever watched Basilisk, by the way. If you haven't, definitely watch the first season. It's an anime, and it's very good. It's like a battle royale Hunger Games with ninjas. Super, super awesome. And then the second season, I still have never checked it out, but Gabriel said it sucked. Actually, everybody said it sucked. So maybe I will never check the second season out. But the first season is a must-watch for everybody. Super underrated. Amazing, amazing, amazing show. Yes. There should be a Basilisk game out there. If there isn't one already. Back to Yoda. The good thing about Xenoblade 3 news is that it compels some streamers to finish the older Xenoblade games. I was a bit shocked that they did it before porting Xenoblade Chronicles X, right? Was it that name? Yes, the one that's exclusive to the Wii U still. I was hoping they would like port it first and then release a new Xenoblade, right? Also, something else that I was thinking after our Chrono Cross news, and then I wonder what do you guys think about it? I mean, I think the chances for this to happen are like 15% at max, but now that we finally got a Chrono Cross remastered and port and everything, that puts me to wonder, what would they want to port or remaster next? Do you guys think Xenogears has any slight chance of getting that? And imagine if they could finish the game, like the second disc. Is it only a dream of mine, or do you think there is at least a slightly chance of that happening? Because I was wondering, now that they did Chrono Cross, what would be next? Xenogears? Who knows? There was, I believe, 1 or 2 games that only appeared on the Oh! There were exclusive direct, exclusive games on the Japanese direct. Which ones? Any good ones? They also had that Disney Pixar crazy racing game. Oh, there was one that felt very Persona-like? Tell me more! Somebody saying that he actually likes to see things about Fire Emblem, but he's already tired of Fire Emblem games connected to tree houses. I mean, I don't hate like Fire Emblem, but Nintendo gotta know that, for example, where is Donkey Kong? You know, like there are other franchises that we have been waiting for forever, and then they don't talk about it, never. But every year there is a Fire Emblem something. Where is Donkey Kong? Can somebody answer me where is Donkey Kong right now? Just an example, there are other franchises as well, like F-Zero. Hi Nintendo, remember F-Zero? Do you have answers? I mean, I don't play F-Zero, it's not my game, but it's a good example of like... Nintendo, would you trade like 5 Fire Emblems for 1 F-Zero, please? Sounds like a deal. Are you up to it? You know, so it's exhausting. But at the same time, if they keep on doing it, it's because they know it sells. So until there are people there buying Fire Emblem, they will keep on releasing Fire Emblem. So pretty much my message here is like, don't buy Fire Emblem. Because by buying Fire Emblem, you're stopping Donkey Kong, F-Zero. Of course not. I'm like, if only things were that simple, right? Or maybe they are. But yeah, I'm tired of Fire Emblem as well, like Subaru. You watched the Basilisk live action. It has the opposite ending? No, really? Okay, that's BS. I don't like that live action because Basilisk is just like Majora's Mask. It's something that's there for you to suffer. And it's good suffering. Xenogears, maybe the game was not completely forgotten, right? Not completely forgotten. I hope so. Chrono Cross, I kinda even lost my hopes, and then here we are. Who knows, maybe Xenogears? I thought we were going on a different thinking process. That if both Chrono Cross Remastered and Earthbound had good sales, they would release Mother 3. I was mentioning Mother 3 earlier too, especially because I saw like a video, I think yesterday, although I wish I could remember who was the person in the video, but I think it was one of the director, there we go, the Mother 3 director. He posted on his Twitter or something that he's still hoping that the Mother 3 port happens. So like even people involved in the development of the game are with hopes of that happening, like that Mother 3 gets translated to English and gets ported to Europe and America. But I was saying that Nintendo, you gotta do it even if you release it as an M-rated game, like mature rated game. Do it, you know, just for everybody to stop this anxiety or like stop this long wait. Because yeah, I understand why it's not happening, but there is no way back now, you know. It's much better for you to do it instead of keep on being a BS and not releasing the freaking game. By opposite, I mean that character died instead of that... Oh! I see, so it was not a fully complete different ending then. I mean, most of the Xenogears team is now part of the studio making Xenoblade, but some important people are still scattered around. I see, so it's possible, come on. If the people are still there, they have the... like, they have the contacts. LCS? They should just call it by the actual words, Loyalty Cleaning Sweep. What is that? Here we are, risking our lives for the good of the planet, and yet our own agency doesn't trust us enough to leave our stuff alone. But Yoda, if you have only watched the live action, how do you know the ending of the anime? Did you get spoiled on that? As long as you don't have anything questionable in your room, you should be fine. How should I know what they consider signs of disloyalty? Branwen? That sounds like a name from Game of Thrones. Branwen seemed like a totally normal guy, and they executed him after the last LCS. We just have to fit in, can't stand out, be a model employee, or so help you. It's straight to the execution chamber. Okay, maybe this girl right here is giving us some foreshadowing for what's to come, like regarding this game's plot. Maybe it's all a conspiracy, and then we gotta hack the system. The system that we are part right now. As this game might have many endings, because I believe that's something else I knew about this game, together with like mechanics like Chrono Trigger. I'm expecting this game to have multiple endings. Maybe one of the endings will be related to what this girl is telling us regarding how the government or like this agency might not be what it looks like. Wait, that woman down there, the blonde girl, reminds me of another character, but I don't know which character I'm thinking on. Do you have a sprite? She doesn't. I wasn't playing... Gabrielle, how to say that? Cthulhu? I don't know, I don't play enough RPGs or I don't read Lovecraft to know how to pronounce that. I wasn't playing Cthulhu Saves the World. That's just my screensaver. I'm hard at work. Oh, the API Direct? Did I read it correct? Seriously, that was such a guess. Cthulhu then. It's read like it's written then. Cthulhu. The IT chief. Let me guess, you need one of my new data... Yes, I need a data card! Someone breaches the server and I'm stuck handing out replacement cards all day long. Blah. Let me just check you off the list. LaSalle Alyssa. There, you're all set. Got item! I hate how there is no sound effect for getting the freaking items here. I think that there was a sound effect for when getting the soda. Come on. You got a new data card. With this card you can access terminals in the Agency of Peace and Intelligence. Basically, I'm now an Illuminati. You know how sometimes enemies resist ailments? It's not random. Ha 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 ha. Of course not. It is programmed. So it's not real RNG, right? For example, if you want to stun an enemy, you need to deal enemy stun damage to lower their stun HP to 0. That's something that I thought it was so crazy about this game. This is like... this reminds me of a saying in Portuguese that probably won't make any sense in English, but I will try to translate it. Soft water on hard rock, it hits it so much that it destroys the rock. Basically, that's a translation of the freaking Portuguese saying. It pretty much means that as it keeps on happening non-stop, you get a different result. So basically, as they have a stun resistance, but you keep on like